Hello. Hello, hello,
Hello.
hello. How is everybody doing out there? Thank you for watching. We are Knowledge to Inspire. I am Tiffany Patlin, your holistic healing guide and best-selling author of the book Unlocking Your Ability to Heal.
And I am Lauren Patterson, guiding light to self-love and author of Freeing Your Heart for Love.
And our sole purpose is to discuss a variety of topics, both popular and taboo. We will be sharing our personal experiences, experts, inspiring guests, professionals, and upcoming authors, all with the wisdom and knowledge to inspire you. What are we toasting to today, Lauren, besides the fact that it's your birthday week?
I know. So I took the whole week off. I got my nails done because I was telling you my whole plans. And then today, so Tiffany, I got my hair washed.
Good.
In the wash, he massaged my head. Yeah, it was really nice. And then he blow dried it and curled it. I brushed it out. I brushed it out since then. That's why it's like flat now.
That's awesome. That's one of the best things that people should do. I'm glad you're not sitting around waiting for things to come to you, because I find like a lot of us do that. Like I was doing that. And then I was just like, you get so hurt that people aren't doing what you expect. It's like, do it yourself. It's your birthday. Take yourself out. Do what makes you feel good. And you're doing that. And I feel like you got that too from when you were dating yourself all those times ago.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do a lot of stuff for myself. I mean, I probably financially, I probably shouldn't, but it's my birthday. So. And I bought 2 dresses for my birthday dinner.
I'm excited to see them on you in some pictures on Instagram.
I'll have lots of pictures.
I bet you will. You're going to take a whole bunch. You bring in your books and your cards and all that good stuff. Awesome.
And we're going to the zoo on my birthday, so the animals will be introduced to Freeing Your Heart for Love.
Aww. I love it. That is so cool. I'm so excited for you. Celebrate every day, all day, the whole week.
Thank you. What are you toasting to?
Let's see. What am I toasting to? Well, today is my best friend's birthday and my son's birthday today. So I have a 14-year-old now. And then my girlfriend, I've known her for 29 years. We met when we were 10 years old. And we've been through thick and thin. She's known me when I was out on the street. She knew me in between boyfriends. She's just always been there. So I just want to celebrate them today. And yeah, I'm just, it's crazy because you're an important person in my life and your birthday's on the 17th. My son is obviously an important part of my life. And so is my friend Jessica Mendoza. Shout out to Jessica.
Yay, happy birthday.
Yeah. So it's like, it's just a really cool week. I'm just filled with gratitude that all these people that are amazing and important to me were born this week and today. So it's really cool. That's what I'm celebrating today.
Oh, I love that.
The love. Love, love, love.
You had to put that. Okay, there we go. And I have the love today.
I know I'm fired. I don't have my button.
Next time. So Tiffany, we have Jess Munson as our guest today, and she's in the studio. So let's bring her in.
Sure, let's do it.
I hear an echo.
No.
Okay, let me bring her on. Hi, Jess.
Hi, everyone. How are you?
Looks like you're in your car.
Yeah, it's been a day. So yes, very plot twist and plansy kind of day. So yes, I am currently in my car.
Oh, nice. Well, I'm just going to read a little of your bio for everyone.
Okay.
So Jess Munson has walked the talk. Not only is she trained in sexual assault critical care and used it to treat patients as an ER nurse, she has experienced rape and later traumas in a troubled marriage. She knows whereof she speaks. Intuitive, empathic, she is able to listen and address compassionately. So thank you, Jess, for coming. We are excited you're here.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here. Excited for this.
What we like to always ask, one of our very first questions, right, Lauren, is that we always like to ask how you got your start. How did you get started in all this? I mean, I know you did mention a couple things that you went through in your past, so I'm betting that might have something to do with it, but we would like to hear from you.
Okay, no problem. So yeah, I do have a history of a couple of different traumatic experiences, but when I was working as an ER nurse, we would have patients come in with chronic abdominal pain, chronic headaches, all these things, and they were just in so much turmoil. And their labs would be fine, their scans would be fine, and we couldn't really do anything for them. We just kind of had I'm so sorry, we can't find answers, and send them away. And it was really really hard for me. And when I started seeing, different like sexual assault victims and stuff come in, with me being a sexual assault nurse as well, there was also similar things that would be happening in their situations. And when last year, April of 2020 was really really epic for me, aside from COVID, and I was working 60-hour work weeks, lots of craziness going on, and suddenly my health tanked overnight, and my labs were fine and my scans were fine, and all the doctors were like, "Jess, we don't know what's wrong." So that kind of started me on this whole thing of what else could there be, aside from the Western approach. And that's where I kind of turned Eastern, and I read a book called The Body Keeps the Score, and it completely changed my life, and it helped me understand what trauma really does to your body. And so I had to walk away from everything I knew and decided to create this program where I'm a coach for domestic violence victims now, from an empathy as well as like a medical side. So that's a little bit of how I got started with this.
It's a beautiful start. I think that a lot of us, get started in stuff like that. Like for an example, I have a lot of trauma in my life that I have had to work through and heal. And that's where I'm at. Now I'm in the position where I just want to give back and just help people and help them heal. And so I really love that. That means a lot to me.
Perfect.
And Jess, you are a mother of 5. Single
yes,
mom.
I am. Yes, single mom with lots of crazy kids.
Yeah. So how do you balance that with working life, and how do you share what you're doing with your children so that they can?
I mean, it's definitely been this really big transition. When I realized that I had to walk away from everything I was used to and accustomed to and had learned, I started to, because I'd gone working from 60-hour work weeks, and one of the, unhealthy coping strategies of trauma is being so busy, you don't have to address your stuff, right? And so suddenly I couldn't get out of bed, and I suddenly had to address it. And I realized that I was in this constant triggering state because I was still in the house where the abuse had happened in my toxic marriage. And so even though I had painted the walls and re-landscaped and gotten him out, I had stayed there for the kids, trying to give them some structure and stability while it was nice and crazy, because it was total chaos when I first became a single mom. And I realized that we were all in this triggering state because the emotions were within that sheetrock, and I had to get out. And so we, in addition to something happening to rethink careers and starting this business, we just picked up and moved to Idaho from southern Utah. And so lots of big changes. So I went from working 60-hour work weeks to now having a business in my house. And it's been a lot of transitions, but I have incredible kids, and they are really, really used to plot twists and plan Z's. And so they're great. But yeah, it's busy, very, very busy at our house.
Sounds like it. Tiffany has kids at home too, so she could resonate with that.
Yeah, I have 3 boys. They're very rambunctious. They love to destroy things. They love to jump off things. They love to climb things. My little one is climbing on top of the dresser where the TV's at now. And I saw him. He's like, "Hey, mommy, look." And I'm like, "No."
Great.
That's so awesome. You're the best climber. Please get down. Don't do that ever again.
Yeah.
I always go for that TV stand. It's so weird. Even my little grandson's one. He's pulling out the drawers. Next thing you know, he's going to step on the drawer.
Yeah.
Right? I know it. Yay for creativity. Yeah, please. Yeah. I tell my 12-year-old all the time I'm going to bubble wrap him. He's breaking bones left and right. And I'm always just like, and even last night, I'm getting ready to be like, no. All right, here we go. Grab an ice pack, let's go elevate it. But it's crazy. It's, yeah. I can resonate.
And something that you were, that I don't know, I guess want to ask or share a little bit of both, is that like from going through everything it is that I've gone through and learned and I'm continuing to learn, I always like to say that the best gift that I could give my children is everything that I'm learning now, because just like you, I had to unlearn everything and relearn. And I think that kind of stumps people. Is there something that you do that the people that you work with, that you can help them? Are they against that immediately? Do you provide that approach? Like, oh, let's unlearn and relearn, or how do you go about that?
I don't necessarily put it in that way, say, oh, we're going to unlearn. I simply just say, we're going to try a different approach. Like when I was, again, trying to figure out how to create this and kind of a different take and kind of how to do this brand into the entrepreneur world. I came across an approach called somatic psychotherapy, and it's with Dr. Wong, and he kind of teaches how there's a difference between thinking, knowing, and feeling, and how each experience is unique to the individual. It's not, oh, well, you've been raped, go to column A. Oh, okay, go to column B. Like, each of us have our own experience depending on our past. And so I approach mindset. So like with my kids, I preach mindset on the daily, and we're always like, we're in charge of ourselves, and we are like, whatever. And they're like, Mom, and I'm like, you guys, this is huge. Like, we are not a victim of our situations. We have the ability to take our lives back, and where's your power, and talking about this. And I mean, we're talking about all the time. So when it comes to my clients, I do the approach of, we're simply going to help you take your power back with different approaches that are not typically offered. We're going to work on the mindset, working on, the victim to victor, kind of like, out of survival mode, because then your body's reacting. So then, like, from different aspects, that's how I approach, instead of saying like, oh, you don't know anything. It's just like, let's just give you some different tools in your little mindset toolbox that you may not have even heard of before. As long as you're open to that, then awesome. Let's change your life. So.
Wow. You're speaking my language. You said mindset, and that's how I healed after 29 years of the abuse that I went through. I healed through mindset. Like, mindset is everything. Like,
yeah, it truly has. I mean, it has a key role in so many aspects, and it's not really addressed in typical things. Everybody's like, oh, well, here's your pillar. Oh, here's, and I believe that medicine has a space, absolutely, but I also think there's a lot of other healing techniques that are more effective depending on the situation and the needs at hand. So. Yeah.
Well, I did it all without. They wanted to give me antidepressants, and I refused. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going to change my mindset. I'm going to change this. And it took me a long time, but I did it.
Yeah. I hopped on antidepressants for a few years, and I hated the feeling of feeling dependent on a medication and things. And I would try to get off. But the thing that I hated about it is it numbed me out. Like, yeah, I was a better mom, but then I didn't care. I didn't care if my house was dirty. I didn't care if my kids were, I was kind of just a checked out mom. And I was already so checked out because of the emotional abuse from the marriage that it was, I wanted it to feel connected so bad that wasn't helping. It was making it worse. And so weaning myself off, like when I finally got off for good, I was like, oh my gosh, this is possible. Let's go, like, spread the love and share the world and all the things. Like, I loved it. Like, no medications right now. And I feel more emotionally strong now than I ever have. Yeah.
Wow.
I agree with you about the medications. They put me on Prozac when I was 14, but then I was living with a cousin, and his wife told my parents that they didn't think I needed to have it anymore. So they took me off of it. It was really strange. And the biggest, strangest thing about that is that they actually gave me the bottle of pills to keep in my bedroom.
After they took you off?
I just got out of a mental hospital, right? That my parents put me in. But hey, let's take her out early because she seems like everything's okay. And then you know what? These pills, we'll give them to her so she can keep them in her room. I don't know. I know, right? And one time I got really mad because my mother told me, she's like, Tiffany, did you take your pill? And I'm like, you want me to take my pill? I'll take my effing pill. I was so pissed, and I just grabbed it and I took quite a few. Thankfully, nothing bad happened, but that's dangerous. We shouldn't be doing stuff like that. But I agree with you wholeheartedly about that. I hear this from so many people that are on medications. They say that, one time I forgot to take my medications, and then they express how they were a mess. And I just try to tell people, like, well, that's because you never addressed the issue, the core issue. You're just masking it. It's like a Band-Aid. But I agree, if my leg gets chopped off and I'm in pain, please give me the meds, but if that's not happening, then, we can do this with our mind. We can heal mentally, just by doing these exercises. We can heal physically just by eating the right foods that are not highly processed and all that. And same thing with our spirituality. I don't know why I can't talk today. It's the end of the day. Is that what it is? I keep stumbling on my words.
Well, and meditation, like just doing meditation for me, that's helped a lot.
Where'd she go?
We lost her.
Oh no, I hope it was probably the internet.
Yeah. And I hear a really bad echo on my end. Okay, well, let's just continue. Yeah, so Tiffany, until she comes back on. I was in a clubhouse room, and this poor girl, she was on so many meds, Tiffany, so many meds. And she even said just what Jess said, that she was numb. She feels numb. She feels sad. She feels depressed. She doesn't know how to get out of that mindset of taking those pills. And I was like, oh, I just like felt for her. I was like, man. And I didn't want to tell her, girl, just get off, because she was saying all her friends tell her, just get off the pills, you know, you'll be fine. Change your mindset. It's not easy for some people.
No, and it depending on how long they've been taking it, it could be quite dangerous for them to just stop cold turkey. So it really does depend. That's why I'm very careful if somebody's taking medications. I'm kind of like, because there's so much to that. And then when we take medications, the doctors cannot tell you every single side effect that you are going to experience. They just can't. So every time you take a medication, you're taking the chance that it's not going to affect you. And then there's the side effects that we are oblivious to. Something could be happening in our body in a negative way, and we're oblivious to it because we can't see it. But then years down the road, we develop these problems. And then, it's from all this stuff. And I think that's why I try my best to always go the holistic route first. You know, try that way first. You know, use your own inner healing power first. And if that doesn't work, then, you know, it doesn't hurt to explore other things. But I mean, you and I both know it works.
Like today's the first day I woke up with no pain in my rib today.
Oh, yay.
Zero.
Finally.
Like it's gone. And I went to the chiropractor yesterday, and I was able to lay on my stomach for the first time, and I got adjusted. So that was another self-care thing I did. I went to chiro. But
that's a really big one.
Yeah, but Tiffany, I healed my rib. I am not crapping people here. Like I didn't want to say the S word.
No, that just sounded funny.
You know, people always say S-H-I. I didn't want to cuss. But I healed my rib by breathing into that area, and I visualized my muscles just mending itself. Like I just saw this like healing just happening, and it magically healed. I'm like, it was all in this meditation I did. And and I kept affirming I allow my body to heal itself. I kept saying it every day.
I really believe we can do that. I mean, I've mentioned it before about Dr. Joe Dispenza, because he's the first person I think of, because how he did that. He, you know, was in this, I think it was I'm not sure if it was a car accident. I'm not remembering that part, but I just remember that he was laid up in the hospital and his spine was all messed up, and he was putting it back together, kind of like what you just said, you know, with his mind. And he was imagining every little piece being fixed and put back together, and he healed. That's the power that we, each and every one of us, has inside. But I think that when we overly heavily medicate, whether that's medications over the counter or street drugs or alcohol, or even eating the foods that, you know, just are not full of nutrients, that are just fillers, or if we're not connected spiritually, we're just so disconnected from our wellness. And that's why it's important to try to get back, little by little, get back. It can seem overwhelming, but that's why we just do what, you know, one thing at a time, and we'll get there.
Yeah, because I remember going back to the medication when I got my breast augmentation. That is painful, girl. Like I can't even. It's worse than childbirth. Like Tiffany, it hurt so bad that I wanted to go back to the hospital and tell them to take it out. That's how bad it hurt. Because you know they cut into your tissue and they're pulling you and stuff. And they gave me Percocet pills, and I started taking them, and I looked like a zombie, Tiffany. Like I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, who is this person? Like I just got off it and started taking Tylenol, because I was like, I don't like the person I'm seeing. Like it was just a different person. My face was like white and pale, and my eyes were like sunken.
Oh man.
Like I can't take any kind of pain meds like that. So I don't know what happened to Jess, but she kind of disappeared.
Yeah, you and I could talk forever. So
yeah, so we'll just keep talking until maybe she's gonna come back, maybe she's not.
I really like this topic though, because I feel like it's really important. I don't want to make anybody feel bad. So if anybody's feeling bad, please don't. If you're taking medications, you're doing what you feel is right for you. So I don't want anybody to feel bad.
Yeah.
But it's just that our experiences and like what you're saying too, Lauren. I had a friend who had her breasts done, and she actually had to have them removed because she ended up getting sick. And I feel like that's almost the same thing with medications. We never know what procedures we're doing and what that stuff is, how that's affecting us. Like when they get the breast augmentation, there's the chemicals and toxins, and that could affect our health.
Mm-hmm.
It could. And we
Hey, Jess, welcome back.
Sorry about that. My phone was something like, we're too hot. We're shutting down. I'm like, no. And then, okay.
It's okay. That's what happens when you do a live video.
All right. I'm like, oh, plot twist. Bless its heart. Okay. I'm back. So sorry.
We just continued the conversation about medication, and we're just sharing our experiences. So if people take medication, it's okay if that works for you.
Right.
So we're kind of just chatting.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm, like my opinion about it, if it's going to work for you, then that's great. And there's a difference between like chemical imbalances or, like a need for some type of condition, but it shouldn't be the first go-to, or just assuming that is the answer, because like one of the things I preach, like that I teach in my program is kind of taking your own power back and not reaching out to say like, doctor or whomever, like, tell me what I should do, instead of like turning internal and like asking your body what it needs. And I was talking to my client a couple of days ago, and we're talking about getting rid of like I feels, right? Like I ams are identities, and I feels are just emotions you need to get out of your system that are affecting your organs. And I was teaching her, kind of how to get rid of them and destroy them. And she said, but I'm scared to. And I said, okay, just take a deep breath. Sit back. When you feel these emotions, what do you feel? And it was the first time she had taken the time to just step away from the chaos. And she was like, oh my gosh, like my chest hurts and my stomach is cramping and my throat feels closed off. And I'm like, there we be. That's where we start. Like, and so until you rush to the doctor and say, oh my gosh, like my stomach hurts, give me an antacid, or oh, this, whatever. And so your body's just trying to talk to you and just saying like, hey, I just have some unresolved trauma. I just have some issues that need to be addressed. It's just like, masking it with something that's not wrong. So yeah, that's where I kind of sit with medications. Yes, there's a need at times, but it should not be the first go-to.
And then to add to what you're saying is that all those side effects,
right.
You don't know. Nobody knows. Like I could take a medication and I could be like thriving on life over here, and then you might take it and you might end up in the hospital, so right. I agree with you. It should never be the first thing, but it's there. It's definitely there. But there's so many other options, holistic options, things that can help this, that, and the other.
Yep. I think just like, raising awareness that we really do have the ability to improve our health by doing the simple, easy things that people kind of take for granted, or, well, there's no way that something like that would have any benefit in your life. Are you open to trying it? Let's at least try, but I mean, it's kind of just this foreign concept to the world. But yeah, I'm glad that it's, becoming more prominent and kind of becoming more accepted, instead of just being, voodoo or, like,
yeah.
Yeah, when I started practicing positive affirmations, I called BS on it. And my friend told me about it, and I didn't believe her. And I would just be like, that's not true. It doesn't work. And she said, just try it. And I just started writing them down and putting it on my mirror and started reading it. And magically it happened, not right away. But then I started believing it, what I was reading. And then I was feeling better. And then my environment was changing. And the people that were around me were falling out of my life because they were so negative, and they were just like melting off me. So then I was like, okay, it works.
Yep. I remember feeling that way, feeling dumb. It's like, ooh, I'm going to look at myself in the mirror. Ugh. Like I remember feeling dumb. Like I felt stupid. I felt really dumb and stupid. So if anybody else out there is feeling dumb and stupid, that's part of the process, but just move past it. Do it anyway. Try these things anyway, because I mean, what do you have to lose?
Yeah.
Nothing. If anything, you have your best life to gain, your self-love, your self-confidence, and all that beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
So Jess, what advice would you give someone who's wanting to pursue a career like yours?
To find your grit. This is so incredibly challenging, and there's so many things behind the scenes that people kind of take for granted, and you don't really think about, and then you're like, oh, this is part of this. Okay, process through. I mean, stepping into this, like I had done therapies, I had done, all the things, and I continue to do my EMDR and do my daily rituals and do all these things, because as you step into this, you step into, like, are you guys familiar with like Brene Brown's like arena concept? Step into the arena, get your ass kicked. You're kind of stepping in, all these triggers that I may have forgotten about or whatever, they seem to rise, and so kind of processing through that while you're still trying to step forward and make that impact. So I think finding your why is really, really important. Kind of having an empathy factor, I feel kind of that gives me kind of something that's needed in this field, instead of saying like, oh, well, I'm sure it was really hard. And you're like, if you haven't been in the trenches, you have no idea how hard it is, kind of thing. As well as just kind of being willing to ask for help and support, both for the emotional side as well as navigating through trying to create something that is going to make that impact that you deeply desire. You definitely cannot do it alone, and you've got to find your tribe that's going to be able to get you there.
Gotta find your tribe.
Yeah, when you said you go back to your why, I always say that when I think about writing my book. I go back to my why. Why did I write this book? And then I get grounded again, and I'm like, okay, then keep going.
And I'm good.
Yeah. Okay, that was the thing of the past.
Yep, I do the same thing. We have to, and I think everybody else would benefit from that too. Living a life of stagnation promotes disease, so we should always be evolving, growing, and that looks different for everybody, but we got to be moving some way, somehow, in a direction.
Yeah, the comfort zone is not there to stay there. It's monotony and stagnation is not anything that should want to be desired. Constantly pushing those boundaries. Yeah.
So do you have any tips or anything that you can give somebody that may be currently struggling, that is just hurting?
I think it kind of depends on the situation. Like I said, it's very unique and individualized.
Mm-hmm.
With my own personal situation, I, like, when it came to like me being raped, I was put on antidepressants. I went to typical therapies, and I was still having a lot of anxiety, a lot of PTSD, a lot of nightmares, a lot of triggers, all things. But I thought that it was just expected, because I had been through something traumatic, and I was just that was kind of what I was going to be stuck with for the rest of my life. And then in my marriage, it was like an 11-year marriage, involved all forms of abuse, but I didn't realize I was in an abusive relationship there. And like, I knew that I was a domestic violence victim because I'd been raped, but I had no idea what emotional abuse was. I thought domestic violence was only physical and things like that. And so it wasn't until I got out and started finding my backbone and fighting for my grit, and like, just digging down and finding my why and not backing down, whatever, did I realize the severity of the situation. And so for anybody who is going through anything really hard, just, again, goes back to like finding your tribe, finding the support, finding someone who can, who believes you, maybe can give you an outside perspective into your world. I was warned for years and years. I had, lots of different people, and a lot of people saw it, but it took me years to be able to see it. And looking back, it absolutely floors me. But kind of like when you're in the thick of it, it's really, really hard, for those of us who experience emotional abuse. And so just be humble enough to ask for help. I saw this quote the other day that said, the bravest word you can ever say is help. And, getting over the, the shame factors that's not there, and the judgment and all the crazy stuff that there's no need for, just finding someone who can give me outside perspective, and then actually say, I'm here for you, and this is the first step we need to do. I love that you're reaching out. Thank you. I'm here to help in doing that. So just don't think you have to put up with the abuse just because that is what you are used to. Your norm doesn't mean it's not toxic, and you deserve a lot more than that.
That's important. Just because it seems normal doesn't mean it's not toxic.
Yeah.
That is so important.
So Jess, how can people find you? We'll post the link, but we just wanted to have you share how people can find you if they want to work with you.
Right. So this first course is the first of many. I fully intend to like write books and go on stage and all the things.
Yeah.
But right now, my first course right now is called Calming Our Chaos, because we are dealing with the chaos in our minds as we deal with the chaos in our lives. And so the easiest way to find me is just jessmunson.com. Right now, my website is under construction, and so it automatically links you to my Facebook business page. And so Jess Munson Live is on Facebook, but if jessmunson.com kind of links all to that. And there you can book a call or have a conversation or DM me, or, I post regularly about like, let's educate and let's raise awareness and let's reach out and let's, support each other and all the things. So jessmunson.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming. And we really appreciate your time and traveling with us. We're traveling with you.
This was not expected, but yes, thank you for your patience. I'm so sorry my phone was like, oh, just kidding, we're not going to cooperate. So thank you for having me.
The joys of being live. You were great. It was a joy to meet you, Jess. I'm going to follow you and all that good stuff so I can support you.
I would love that. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye, Jess.
Okay, see ya.
Bye. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was one thing that I remember that I was going through. Like what she was talking about, the tribe, find your tribe. I had these friends. And then little by little, I started noticing things. As I started evolving and healing, I started noticing that I wasn't having the same things in common with the friends that I had before as I was in that moment. And I got really sad. I remember crying to my husband about it. But then I learned that sometimes we are friends with people sometimes they're only meant to be in our lives for a certain amount of time. Sometimes they're meant to come in and leave just to teach us a lesson. And that's something that I've acknowledged me on my own personal journey with the circle of friends and all that stuff. But the beauty of that, because it can get sad, right? It's sad. You feel lonely. You're like, oh, we're all my friends. That's how I felt. But the beauty of that is that you get to expand and explore and find new friends. Lauren, I found you. And so many other people. There's so many amazing, empowering, positive women that I have come across. And those are the type of women that I want to align myself with now, because that's where I'm at. I'm in a different phase of my life. So if you ever find that the friends that you thought were your friends, or friends that you're drifting away from, or that's not necessarily a bad thing, it's actually a sign that you're evolving, and that's a good thing. So if you ever feel bad about that, I just want to encourage people, just think about the bright side, that you get to create a brand new circle of friends. Don't focus on the sad part too much. Focus on the good part, because what we focus on grows. I love that saying.
And also, before we go, Tiffany, do you have something to share about your book or what you're working on? If you want to share anything with anyone?
Yes, as a matter of fact, for anybody that is interested in healing mentally, physically, and spiritually, I'm currently creating a pilot program, and it's starting on July 5th. And it will be like a crash course condensed into 30 days, where each week is broken down to help you mentally, physically, nutritionally, and spiritually. So if you're interested in that, if that interests you, feel free to go to my website, tiffanypatlin.com, and you can read more about me and all the amazing work that I'm doing there. Thank you, Lauren.
And I have an exciting announcement that I will post in the group on Wednesday, Tiffany, tomorrow, because that is my day to post my book stuff. Also, I just wanted to just say, I have a quote based off of what we're talking about. So I wanted to read it here. So we define ourselves far too often by our past failures. That's not you. You are this person right now. You're the person who has learned from those failures.
Yeah. I love that. I love that so much.
I just want to share that.
That is perfect.
I love you.
And I love you. And we love you, all of you watchers. Anybody's watching. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please do that. That helps us. Yes. And share with your friends. And, you want to share about our next event?
Yes. We have our next live virtual speaking event on Saturday, July 17th, same time, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. We have our speakers lined up. It's going to be exciting. We are theming this around something that someone can teach you that you don't know about, maybe. We have a salsa dancer instructor, so if you want to get your body moving. We have somebody who's going to be teaching you how to style yourself from the inside out. We have how to rock your podcast with a couple of people that rock their podcast every day, and more to come.
We have a total of 6 speakers, so that was just a little teaser. So,
and also we have Clubhouse. So if you want to follow us in Clubhouse, we are in a club called Women Share All every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time.
Yep, those are fun talks. Get in on it. Come join us. Or if you're not on Clubhouse, come find us. Come follow us. What is your handle?
Lauren P. like
Lauren P. And then mine's just Tiffany Patlin. So find us, follow us. Get in there. If you need an invite, let us know. I still have some, and I'm happy to share them. And Android users can get in on now, I hear. So if you're an Android user, get in there.
Yeah, send us a message because I have 8 invites I can give to people now.
Nice.
Yeah.
So let's get you in the club.
Yeah, Tiffany can sing that song. But she won't.
I only did that one for you.
I know. I saved it too. I saved it.
So I put on the 50 Cent song, and in the beginning I was...
Yeah, you were singing to me, and I was like dancing. I was at the nail salon, actually.
Because it was on Monday, and it was her birthday week, and I just wanted to start early, so I did that. That was funny. Awesome. Just for you. That was just for your ears only.
So we will see everybody next week. Have a great rest of the week, and adios for now.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.